In this course, we will talk about the differences between routers and switches. Then, what exactly is a router or routing? We know that a switch switches and a router routes. That's the base. But what exactly does that mean? In previous courses, we've seen that switches switch data based on MAC addresses. Its only concern is to know which interface to send the Ethernet frame to by analyzing the destination MAC address. The switch works at layer 2, the data link layer. As for the routers, they have a similar task, except that they will examine the IP packages. They review the IP address of the IP package's destination and send it on the right interface. So the router works at layer 3, the network layer. So one might tend to ask, why not use only MAC addresses, as they are also unique on the network? Or why not use only switches? Well, we'll try to see the real difference between a switch and a router. Here on the first diagram, we have two switches, which each contain 250 connected PCs. Now, if all PCs want to communicate together, the switches must learn the 500 MAC addresses. They will have to learn both the PCs on the left and the right. Now imagine a bigger network, where there would be millions of devices. For example, the Internet. In your opinion, would it be possible to store millions of entries in the MAC table of the same switch? Of course, I don't. Now let's take the same example, except we use routers. In this diagram, we have 250 PCs connected to router A, which are part of the network 192.168.1.0, with a /24 that corresponds to a subnetwork mask of 3 times 255, 0. The router B also has 250 PCs and uses the network 192.168.2.0 with the same mask. Routers route based on IP information. In our example, router A should just know that the 192.168.2.0 network is behind router B, and conversely, router B should just know that network 1.0 is behind router A. Instead of having an MAC address table with 500 addresses, we only need one entry on each router for the other networks. The main difference is that switches use MAC address tables to transfer Ethernet frames, and routers use a routing table to find out where to transfer IP packages. When you take a new router out of the box and connect it for the first time, it will build a routing table, but the only information it will record is the interfaces that are directly connected to it. While a switch will write in its MAC table all the information that comes from everywhere. That's why it's much cleaner to use a router.